All right, hey, welcome to the channel. I'm Trey, and today we're just going to be talking about the watches that I've collected over the past couple of years while I was serving in the military, and then some that I've collected after I got out of the military. All of these watches, you'll notice, are your GA/DA types, so your go anywhere, do anything types. They'll pretty much stand up to anything, except for only one in my collection is maybe not so durable. But for the rest of them, I would recommend these ones. But before we start, I guess the big question is like, oh, well, what's the number one watch that you'd recommend for this type of thing? And just to kind of get that out of the way, G-Shocks. G-Shocks are great. G-Shocks will do everything that you need them to do, and they'll tell you what time it is and all that stuff like that, no matter what. When it comes to analog watches, that's a little bit of a different story, and I've got a few that I would definitely wear in the field, and then some that you can kind of wear in different scenarios, whether you're kind of going out on a date night maybe, or maybe getting ready to go on, little training exercise. So here's the quick little peek at the box here, the watches we're going to be going over, and let's get into it. Okay, and so to kick things off, we're going to start it with the very first watch that I purchased right after graduating Marine Corps OCS. And on top of that, honestly, this is probably the watch that you will most frequently see if you were to go to any military installation, not just the Marine Corps. It could be Army, Navy, whoever, right? Like, this is the watch that you will most frequently see are those folks wearing. And that is the Garmin Instinct Solar 2. So what makes this watch so popular, or why so many people are going for it, is one, you got these really big buttons, so even if you're wearing gloves, you can still access them very easily. On top of that, you have pretty much every single type of workout that you can possibly imagine. So for myself, I was training for ANS, so I had to start doing a lot of pool workouts, and I was doing a bunch of hiking or ruck running, and of course, I was doing tons and tons and tons of running. And every once in a while with my buddy, I would go for a little bike every once in a while. So it has every type of workout. It can track it really well. It can sync up to the GPSs in a fairly quickly manner. So, and on top of that, it has an amazing battery life. I think you can see here that it says that I still have about 22 days left of battery life. You have your you have your sunrise, and then you have your sunset right here, your seconds, day, date, and then of course your local time. And if you look at other watches in the smartwatch category, you'll notice that their battery life really doesn't last too long. You also get your heart rate monitor. You can also track your sleep if you want to. So, at the end of the day, and I'll pop up probably a couple of pictures here of a couple of Marines that are also just wearing this on their day-to-day. It's just a solid, rugged watch. So if you're looking for kind of the best smartwatch, rugged watch, something that's going to last, always be ticking no matter what, this is the one. Garmin Instinct made a they knocked it out of the park with this one. So I can't recommend this watch enough. And then one more picture, hopefully I can pop up, of me wearing this in my last few, the last couple of years of my military service. Now, moving into the next watch that I have right here. This is the G-Shock DW 5600E. Now, the reason why I purchased this one is because every once in a while you have to work in what we call a skiff. I don't remember what the acronym skiff. It's an SCIF. I don't remember what the acronym spells out, but you basically work in a secured environment where oftentimes you're dealing with top secret materials. And when you're working in those types of offices, you don't want to be wearing a watch like this that has emissions, and it can emit your location, and it literally emits your heart rate. All sorts of things. So just kind of on the whole OPSEC side of things, or whatever you want to call it, if we work in a skiff, if you work in a secured environment, then you have to wear what we call a dummy watch, or at least something that isn't able or capable of syncing up with GPSs. And that's when I purchased this, when I actually moved units. The G-Shock 5600E does every single thing that I needed to. Is it able to track how many meters that I swim? No, but it keeps my local time. It gives me at least one alarm that I can mess with. It gives me my countdown timer and a stopwatch. And, even while I'm using my stopwatch or my countdown timer, I can still use I can still see my local time there up at the top right. So an amazing watch. Not much else to really comment on. You know, it's just a very kind of, maybe not discreet, but it's just kind of like a low-key watch. The only thing that I don't like is, you know, reaching and accessing those buttons. If you're wearing gloves, you will certainly have to take off your gloves to be able to, you know, kind of get these things pushed in, especially when it comes to the adjust button, which is properly recessed. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's properly recessed. You literally got to get a nail in there. But otherwise, hey, this thing is going to 100% tell you the time. I'm going to put it on wrist real quick. See if I can get this on real fast. And so yeah, between these two watches, these were the two that I wore the vast majority of the 6 years that I was in. I would wear this on a daily basis, right? And then I would wear the G-Shock if I needed to be working in a skiff. So I don't know if I showed I don't think I showed the Garmin on wrist, so I'll show that real fast. And then we'll move on to the next timepiece here in just a second. All right, and here is the Garmin Instinct Solar on wrist. Again, I have approximately about a 6-inch wrist, so fairly skinny, but I have a somewhat flat wrist as well, so that's what it looks like. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next timepieces. Alrighty, and for the next watch is it's not the Porsche design, but it is the Dan Henry 1972, modeled after and an homage to the Porsche design. So why did I get this one? This is the only watch that I would have in my collection that has 50 meters of water resistance. It's also the only watch that I would not probably recommend for, you know, your GADA or your go anywhere, do anything, taken out to the field. This really wouldn't be your hard use type watch. So why did I get this? Well, your answer, what is that? Oh yeah, the answer is just, I mean, look how amazing it looks. That's really why I got it. You know, it's also the only true chronograph that I currently have in my collection. It still has day date, which right now you kind of can't see. It's a little bit covered up by the minute hand there, but yeah, I mean, just a fantastic looking watch, which is the main reason why I ended up getting it. And you know, with the bracelet, that's probably my favorite part about it, is this PVD, I assume, bracelet, and just kind of like the way these links are, super cool. And yeah, it's a 40, I believe it's a 41 millimeter. So I'll go ahead and put it on wrist in just a second. But also, this is the same watch that Tom Cruise wore in, sorry, it's an homage to the same watch that Tom Cruise wore in the movie Top Gun. So he wore the Porsche design. You know, the Dan Henry 1972 comes out at a price point that is much more affordable than the original. This one comes in at about $350. Like I said, it's about a 41 millimeter case size. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pop it on, see it on wrist. And again, that's just it's a 6-inch wrist for reference, right? So anyway, not really too much more to this watch. Do I recommend it for the field environment? Nope, probably not, but you could probably get away with wearing this in garrison or wearing this in your service uniforms or just like some casual attire like I'm kind of doing right now. All right, so that is the Dan Henry 1972. I believe I'm saying that right. And we're gonna go ahead and get into the next ones. Let's take a look at some G-Shocks, all right? All right, and here we have the small G-Shock collection here. Only one that's missing is, of course, the 5600E that you've already seen. But all right here, first up, we have the 9052. Okay, here's its counterpart in blue. All right, these are the DW 9052s. I believe they have either 100 or 200 bar. I actually can't remember. Oh yeah, 20 bar. There you go. It says it right there on the screen. So you got your 200 meter water resistance. They are a little bit on the thicker side, but I do appreciate the large buttons because that allows you to, they're recessed, so they're not just gonna kind of push inadvertently, but if you're wearing gloves, you can easily kind of get there, access the buttons. So I do like that. These are very super kind of basic, these are very basic in their functionality in terms of the, what's it called? Just has, one alarm, and it has your countdown. It also has your stopwatch, and that's all you're gonna get. Just one alarm, countdown, and stopwatch, and of course your local time. And so with that, that's really all you kind of need, and that's really all there is to it. Very durable watch, highly recommend. The only thing I would just be aware of is the thickness of this piece, right? It's a little bit on the thicker side there, so that could get caught up on some things depending on what you're doing. And other than that, just the very minimal functionality of it. But otherwise, super cool watch. And then of course you got your 5610, and this is the same thing, just with a negative display. I can't remember the watch model name right now, the reference number, but very, very, very useful, resourceful watch, I guess I should say, because it's a solar watch, right? So runs off of a solar battery, has a little bit more functionality than your 9052s. So with the 5610, you're going to have, of course, your local time. You're also going to have your world time, where you can preset up to 5 different time zones, and you have access to, I don't know, like over 30 different time zones to choose from. You've got your world time. You also have 5 alarms that you can set, which is very convenient if you're the type that's setting all sorts of alarms. Stopwatch, and your countdown timer. And while you're in the stopwatch function or in the countdown timer, you still get access, or you still are able to view up in the top right corner, you're still able to view your local time there. So just a very, very awesome watch. You know, you can go with the 5600E, which is cool. You can go with one of the 5610s. This is also, it's an atomic watch. I guess all that means is that it can automatically sync time to your closest atomic clock that you have. So that is some people really like that. Me, it's a cool feature, but not really a game breaker for me. Of course, 200 meter water resistance and all the things that you would expect with a G-Shock. So all these watches I did pick up after my time in service, just because I just greatly appreciate the G-Shock brand and just the functionality of it. So I think that those are super cool. And then lastly, we got the 291H. Is kind of an honorable mention and really should be, you know, it's kind of like a cousin of the G-Shock family, but lo and behold, it is not a G-Shock, in fact. So just a Casio, has the same functionality as your 5610, has your 5 alarms, right? And it has your world time right here. And then you have your timer and your stopwatch. So just thought I would mention that one. It's one of the ones that I have, of course, in my collection, and we're just going through all of them. Would I recommend these watches for the field? Yes. Your command probably ain't gonna let you wear blue, but yeah, if you get it in a normal kind of blacked out color, or brown, or whatever, black, brown, or green, I think they like to say, then you know you should be totally fine. So those are the G-Shocks. We're gonna go ahead and move into what's next. Next up, we're gonna look at the analog watches that we have here on the list. So we're gonna start out with a couple of divers probably, and then we'll move into the rest of these. All right, and here we have a couple more analog watches in the collection. On the left, we have the Hamilton Cooper, and on the right, we have the Orient Mako II. So starting with the Hamilton Cooper, I picked this watch up primarily because my favorite movie, my all-time favorite movie right now is Interstellar. My second favorite movie, I would probably say, is Saving Private Ryan. Nonetheless, if I'm ever going for a long drive, this is one of the watches that I'm going to put on, just because it's a proper pilot's watch. Now, would I take this watch out to the field if you're serving, in the armed services, or if you are like a cop or something like that? No, I probably wouldn't be wearing this. Would it stand up to those challenges? Yeah, I mean, it probably would, but for me, this is kind of more of the special occasion. It's more of the special occasion type watch. And actually, I want to say, yeah, no, this is the most expensive watch that I have in my watch collection. It comes in at about $1,200, and I don't see myself ever purchasing a watch that's more than $1,500, just because I have a whole philosophy on that. Maybe I'll go into that in another video. But the reason I picked up this watch is quite simply the aesthetics. 100-meter water resistance, about a 42, maybe a 43 millimeter case size, and just being that proper kind of pilot's watch. It's great to wear for a long drive, and we'll go ahead and pop it on wrist so you can see what it looks like. All right, so there's the Hamilton Cooper on wrist, 6-inch wrist there. I mean, it's a fantastic watch. Like I said, I think this is the only watch I've ever received a compliment in person on, so I'm pretty excited about that. All right, so now moving on to the Orient Mako II that we have here. Now, this is a watch I would definitely wear to the field if no one yells at me about it, because it is stainless steel. It's a little bit bright, right? It's got a little bit of some shine to it. But this would 100%, stand up to. I would say that it's a durable watch. For sure. For sure, it's a durable watch. And on top of that, it's an amazing looking watch. It's got a screw down crown, 41.5. So it's going to fit a lot of, whether you have a smaller wrist or a larger wrist, it's really in that sweet spot for that. And again, as far as durability, I would definitely trust this watch 100%. So not much else to it. Got the day date function on there, got your indices, got a little bit of a mix on there where you get some numerals. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, as far as my EDC, like what I wear on a day-to-day basis, this is probably one of the most frequent watches that I'll wear on a day-to-day basis. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like on wrist real quick. Put that there. And there you go. Orient Mako II. Hey, look, I mean, if your command allows it, I am 100% recommending this watch. This is super professional. If you're wearing it in your service uniform or your dress uniform, it's going to absolutely look amazing. And just in general, it's just a very solid looking watch. So there you have it. Those are my two and my only two stainless steel watches in my collection. Let's go ahead and move on to the next ones. All right, and here are the final two watches that I have in the watch collection. So on the left here, we've got the Seiko SRPD 79 customized with a more sort of field aesthetic. I threw a different dial in there and then put on some different hands, but otherwise it's the same watch. And then, oops, sorry about that. And then lastly, we have the Citizen Promaster Land U822, the limited edition. So let's talk about, let's talk about the U822 first. So this is the watch that I actually purchased kind of to commemorate me becoming a first-time homeowner. And also I had kind of still recently just gotten out of the military when I picked this one up. So I was kind of, as I was saying before, kind of carrying on that mindset of any watch that I wear, really any piece of gear that I wear, I want it to be super durable and hold up to pretty much just about anything. And let me tell you, this watch, it definitely has the look, and so far, so good. So I picked it up about a year ago. Price was about $800 at the time, but you can find it for much cheaper nowadays. And they have a couple of different colorways and designs for it as well. So this one being the limited edition, so it's got a little bit of that camo on the outside, it's got a little bit of that camo on the inside, and then you can kind of see there you've got that rotating bezel for the compass, which I love that because I love me some good land nav, right? Would I ever use this to actually, I mean, I have real compasses, so I would just use a real compass. But anyway, it's super cool to have and kind of goes with that whole field watch theme. Gotta love it. Plenty of features on here. You got your stopwatch. You have of course, you just have your local time stuff that you can just see there, kind of scrolling through some different displays that it's got. And then you have your settings. You got 2 alarms, so not 5. Not that, I don't know who needs 5 alarms, but anyway, you got 2 alarms on here. You've also got, of course, your countdown timer for if you're cooking it up in the kitchen, which is normally what I use it for. So you got your countdown timer, and then of course you also got your stopwatch, super simple, and then dual time. The dual time is actually pretty cool the way they break it out here. So got your dual time, and then I think it just cycles back to your local time, date. So I threw it on a paratrooper strap because I just kind of like the way it looks. I think it kind of brings out the watch a little bit more, but it does come with it comes with a, what's it called? It's a stainless steel bracelet that it comes with. It matches the same color as the case. That's what I would wear if I don't have the paratrooper strap on. And then it also comes with like a blue camouflage leather strap that I think looks absolutely terrible. So I never really wear that. But otherwise, yeah, this thing was worth every penny. And like I said, I mean, between these two watches, these are the only analog watches that I would actually take to the field and use for like a, hard use type of context, right? So like I said, this is about a 45 millimeter case size. We'll pop it on real quick and then we'll start talking about the little stealth bomber that I got here on the left. So again, yeah, 6-inch little baby size wrist here. This is a big watch. I mean, this is a big old watch, but man, I think it looks super cool. So anyway, that is the Promaster Land U822 in all of its glory on wrist. The watch strap is from Etsy. I forgot. I think it's like Strewski's, or can't remember the company name, but that's where I got it from. I think it looks really, really nice. So yeah, I mean, for a 6-inch wrist, I would say it fits. It wears kind of small. At least I think so. I don't know. You can maybe comment in the comments and maybe say, that thing looks like a flying sausage. So, all right, let's go on to the last watch here. And we have the, what is this thing called again? Yeah, the Seiko SRPD 79, but customized. There's really not much to say about this watch. I actually picked this one up like the last couple of weeks that I was still serving in the military. So the last day, I think the last 2 days. Oh, no. My last day, my very, very last day. Came off of terminal leave, had to turn in my final paperwork, and then drive off the gate for the last time. This was the watch that I was wearing. Got to receive some of my little medals and stuff. Maybe I'll be able to pop up a picture of me wearing it. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted something that was as simple and as basic as it could possibly get, that draws absolutely zero attention. And this is the design that I was able to come up with. And shout out to the guy that helped me to design this. Forgot his name and forgot the name of the company, but they did an absolutely amazing job. Day date, you know, you just got your three hands on there and your numerals, right? And then of course got the dive bezel still rolling to do your dive bezel functionalities. But let me tell you, that is just about it. I'll go ahead and pop this one on the wrist so you can see what see what it looks like. There you go. So only about $500 to get it custom made. So I think it's pretty solid. There they are. You can see the Citizen is much bigger. But anyway, that's going to do it for the watch collection. So thank you for checking it out. Thanks for hearing my TED Talk and walking through all these watches with me. Lastly, I think this is a 42.5, by the way, for 42.5 case size. But yeah, anyway, sorry about that. Thank you for checking out the video. Maybe I'll do another one. We'll go through some EDC stuff. Let's talk about, I don't know, let's talk about knives. Let's talk about pins, maybe. Talk about multi-tools, binos, who knows? But that's going to do it for the watch video. If you've got any questions, just let me know. And otherwise, yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Adios.